Welcome to
Realty Check.
I'm Carly Fridman.
And I'm Michelle Morris.
And welcome to this week's episode.
We're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything segment. And first off, we're going to start with a market update, but what we're doing.
Stay tuned. There's not really any drastic market update from the last time that we talked about where the market's going. We all know the good, the bad, the ugly. Interest rates are going up. Market's a little bit slower. So we thought it'd be more interesting to be more specific about what's going on in the market based on our listings that we have. Because we are so diversified in the top types of properties we sell. Condos, we sell houses, and we don't really specify when we meet people that we only do one particular area, one particular price range. We are multifaceted, and because we're in a team, we could diversify where we go. So let's talk about our listings.
Currently, we have 21 listings.
And for the first time, I would say we roll with about anywhere between 15 to 30 listings. And for the first time in a very long time, we have more listings for sale than we do for rent. Significantly more. I think we only have four or five rentals.
I cleared out all the rentals.
Yeah. So we have 4 or 5 rentals on our 21. I have 3 more properties I'm putting on the market in the next 2 weeks. And I've had in the last 3 weeks 4 sales that I've done. On the 4 sales, we've also had another offer that's come in that didn't just pan out. So our stuff's moving.
Just as we were sitting here, we got an offer.
Exactly. As we're sitting here, we did get an offer. So things are moving. Like the market is not stalled completely. It's just really interesting what's moving and what's not. And we don't have a crystal ball for what's going to move or what's not. So
I even said to a client the other day, we went to go see a multiplex, and I said to him, because he's in a positive cash flow. So I said to him, listen, we're going to go see it, but we're going to have to make an offer pretty quickly because I think they're going to get multiple offers. That was 12 days ago, and they still don't have an offer. So that's not crazy. That I look stupid, but that would have been gone in a second.
And the one that you made an offer with the same guy, 3 weeks ago, there was 7 offers, and it was a piece of shit. Excuse my language. It was just not great.
You have no, you don't have and a crystal ball, you have no idea
and what's
what's
crazy is the price
move.
ranges are very similar, but the locations were very different.
Yeah.
So you don't really know right now. So as always, get your ducks in a row, buyer, seller, organize yourselves to when you're ready. But let's talk about why we think some of our listings aren't moving versus others, because I think that's something that's really something that Michelle and I have been literally hitting our head against the wall with, that some of our listings are really well priced, but they're not moving. And then we just had this aha moment where we understood why some of these listings were really not moving. And it's not price, which is usually what you tell clients. So
no, it's
elaborate.
Revenue. So basically, a lot of our listings currently are condos in the downtown or Griffintown that have tenants. So these are clients that we've been renting out their units year after year after year, and this year, suddenly, I don't know, all of them in the past 3 months.
Because their interest rates have gone up, and it's no longer advantageous for them to keep the property and renew their mortgage rates and be able to keep the same tenant and be cash flow positive. So let me say that one more time slowly so we kind of get our head around it. So it is no longer advantageous for the client who had bought new construction 3 to 5 years ago, who have a tenant who's paying pretty decent rent, to keep the condo at a new interest rate that they're going to have to renew at. So either they're trying to get ahead of the curve, so they're on year 3 or 4 on a 5-year fixed term, or they're coming up to year 5 and they have a noose around their neck and they're about to explode. So think about what that means, and this is why we're having that problem.
So then I'm going to do the calculation with you. So now you have a tenant in there. Okay, I have a tenant in there, and you have to respect their lease. You're coming to buy. You are most likely an investor, because if you want to own or occupy, you're only owner occupying in 6+ months, because you have to give that tenant an advisory 6 months prior to their current lease and let them know that your child, or your parent is taking ownership.
Hold on, and let's put the calendar to use here. We're in August right now.
Yep.
So the person most likely just moved in.
I just renewed my leases. Moved in or just renewed their lease.
And even if they're not the July 1st, they're probably the September or the January. So you are nowhere near a point where you're getting them out. So we're really in a point where you're stuck with this person.
So I'm looking at an investor. Okay, so now my investor, I have a unit in Griffintown. I'm listed at $525. It's currently rented. It's a weird rental. It's from August till it's October to September. I just renewed them because I renew my leases. I give them an advisory 4 months before. I give them 30 days. They have to let me know 3 months before, because if they're leaving, then I start looking for my tenant 3 months before.
Hold on. That's only if you're not increasing their rental. So these are people that are your clients that are renting in the unit.
Yeah.
Michelle represents both the landlord and the tenant. She's telling the tenant, hey, if you're not going to stay, you have to tell the landlord now. Not the landlord telling the tenant. We're talking about the tenant.
Okay. So I'm at 525. I'm rented for 1,700. Okay.
Hold on. Because at 1,700 at that time when they took the tenant, this is not the first year, this is their second year, there was a surplus of third year. So they were right in the time of panic of COVID where people were reducing the rent because there were way too many places for rent and people just wanted to get people in the door, new construction, right? So these people, when Michelle put the tenant in, she said to them, listen, it's okay to take a little bit of a cut because you're gonna get a tenant in and because you have 5 years in new construction to arbitrarily up the rent at any point. The tenant might leave, but you can increase the rent.
I'm not 5 years though.
But if it was 5 years. Wait, hold the phone. So this person who's in there, who's paying not market rent for that place, is now staying. And your clients, what is your client's monthly payment without taxes, without condo fees? How much is it just their mortgage payment?
I have no idea.
No, the new person.
So I'll tell you my new person. So my new person, I'm listed at 525. Let's say we sell at 500, just to give you even numbers. You have to put 20% down because you're an investor. You cannot put any less than 20% down.
Some people, we're talking general here, right? So like this is the standard rule.
Interest rate, I'm giving them an interest rate at 6%, which is fair for right now. Okay, you're on a 25-year. So I'm rented at 1,700. Okay, the tenant pays their hydro, their internet, etc. Just my mortgage, principal and interest, I'm at $2,560.
That's not including what we assume is probably an extra $500 a month for taxes.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Oh,
I'm not even there yet. I'm not even there yet. So I'm at $2,550.
I want to know if I'm right.
$2,559. Okay. My condo fees for the unit, I'm at $352.
Oh, I'm way off.
Municipal taxes, I'm at $300, and school taxes, I'm at $37. So my total.
No, that's per month or in total?
Per month.
Oh, okay.
Per month. So to carry this monthly for my new buyer, it cost me $32.50, and I'm rented for $1,700.
You forgot the insurance. Like, can you imagine?
So you're dishing out $1,550 a month for your tenant to live there, and you're stuck with your tenant for 16 months. If you are an
investor, does that sound like a fair investment? Now, we're not saying that everybody hits even when they have a tenant, but that's almost double what the rent is. And let's bring it back.
We
talked about it last time and we talked about it the time before, but it's the most annoying thing and we got to just keep bringing it up. Who else is buying your unit besides someone who wants to own or occupy or a local investor? We're not talking about someone who's coming from the US, who's transferring their US dollars to Canadian, who's getting 32% from the interest rate. For them, they don't care. The exchange rate, they don't care. You're not talking about someone who's coming from China, who's cash rich, who's probably going to maybe pay cash for it.
So your pool of buyers already with the restriction went to this, okay? Went to this. Now, because I have a tenant in there and because it doesn't make sense for owner occupied, now my pool of buyers is this. And I have and if you 5 of those listings.
And if you had $500,000 cash right now, would you put all of your money in one condo, or would you be like your investor and buy a multiplex?
Yeah.
Or would you diversify?
Be cash flow positive.
Or even if you're not, or would you diversify your interest and say I'll put $250 in real estate and $250 in the mortgage in the stock market because the stock market is fluctuating and it's a good time to get in. So you're limiting yourself. So all of a sudden we're looking at each other going, it makes some sense. And we're like, well,
we're trying to communicate that to our
clients.
Our seller.
And there's nothing we can do. Even if I reduced your price by $50,000,
doesn't help me.
It doesn't help your investor. So now we're in a position where, okay, you're stuck. But then we have to rationalize to our other clients who are now taking new construction and they want to flip them. And we're saying to them, well, at the minute you put a tenant in there, we're not going to be able to sell it. Well, I don't want to sit empty and I don't want to
bleed.
What is let's say 90 days of not having a tenant? Because anything can rent at any price. What is 90 days of not having a tenant if you can make a little bit of cash and pull out of the market? You are going to lock up your money for at least 12 months. And we don't think the market is going to go in such a positive way in 12 months from now. At this point, it doesn't make sense for an investor to buy a condo with a tenant. Now, if you're buying a condo with a tenant because you say, oh, you know what, Carly, I'm going to buy this condo. I don't care that he's paying $1,750. My kid's going to go into university next year, trying to get something at a good price.
Yeah.
I'm, like, no problem. We'll buy it. We'll take a loss for a year, whatever. That's fine. I'm just talking about someone who's a pure investor, just pure investor. And that's by the way, those are costs, assuming you just said your building's not in a 5-year, it's more than that. That's assuming you don't get thrown a special assessment. Because then forget it, you are squashed. It's just crazy.
So what we're seeing in the condo market, big condos are selling million plus, huge sales. It was a big one yesterday. I don't know if you saw.
There's a couple of really big sales, and anything that's empty at the right price, that's a good unit. We're not talking about the rent to the litter, are still selling. Listen.
And that's what we got an offer on right now. So I have it up for rent and for sale.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to explain to my client, you put it for sale. I can rent it for you in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But as soon as I rent it, I am going to shoot you in the foot.
Yeah, but look at my TDC. The 2 TDCs that I sold back to back and at good prices for the units, they were both owner-occupied. And one of them,
big units.
One is a good size, but no, I sold a big unit, and the people are tenants in the building. So they wanted to move into the building, and they used mine. The other one was owner-occupied too. So, that seems to be what's running and moving. That's the right thing. I have a small condo near McGill University in a beautiful building, owner-occupied. There's no one in it. Haven't had a single visit request.
Wild.
Usually those on in President Kennedy and De La Concord, if they're priced right, they will sell, and especially if they're small. But because I have no investors coming from out of town, who's going to put their kid in it? Someone from Toronto, someone from Vancouver, someone from Ottawa, someone from Calgary, but there's only so many of those.
And now would be the time for it too.
Yeah, so it's disturbing. We don't really know which way it's going to go. All of my listings that we have for sale that are homes, my homes are still getting the offers and the visits and all of that. What I find also really crazy is that country properties, like Laurentian properties, Eastern Township properties, are still selling very quickly, and they're still selling at multiple offers.
I thought that it would slow down, and that people would realize it's a lot to carry.
It is a lot to
handle, and that people are not spending as much time up there. But
people aren't. So I was talking to people that I know in Tremblant, and they said that the mountain itself is dead. The restaurants are dead. Everything is dead. I just did a sale with clients in St. Adolphe de Howard. They bought a house, and I know that the people who bought that house overpaid for what they bought. They didn't make a huge profit, even though they put money into it, and they're bleeding. They live in Outremont. They're bleeding. They needed to sell this country house. So, that's kind of, we're going to start seeing some of that. But as long as you bought in the last 2 to 3 years and you have a fixed rate, you're laughing. It's when all this stuff comes to be renewed that we're going to have that kind of issue. And that's why when, I know one of the other questions we got was, where do you see the market going? Which way is it going? It's really a crapshoot. Looming recession, interest rates are going higher. The real estate market is so cyclical that when interest rates, people have to, in new construction, anything built in the last 5 years, if they got fixed for 5 years, i.e. our Tour des Canadiens buildings, Icon, L'Avenue.
It's coming up.
It's all coming up, and get ahead of that. Get out of the market. If you think you're going to sell in the next 2 years in those buildings, get ahead of the market, because people are just going to let them fall from the sky because they're not going to be able to afford to have them. Same thing that we're seeing. A couple of guys that I know that do new construction projects have been calling me on the phone. Carly, we have units that are being taken back. Hey, Carly, we're willing to discount them $100,000 because this guy can't close, that guy can't close. People are losing their deposits.
The panic's starting
because
to set in.
They can't at the new interest rate. They're not going to be able to afford these units. Like Michelle said,
your tenant's not going to pay a fraction of what it's going to cost you.
5 years ago, when you bought this, you calculated your interest rate and you thought it wouldn't be so different, or even 5, not even 5. 3 years ago, you thought your interest rate would be 3%. Okay, the worst it's going to be is 3.5. Calculated at 3.5, okay, you could cover it, but not at 6. That's double. We don't live in a society that people are smart enough with their money or tight enough with their money that if they had to pay double the payments, they could. The bank was not even approving you at double the rate. They were not using that as the stress test. They were not using, think about that logic. The bank wasn't using double the rate as a stress test. They were not using the rate that we're looking at today as a stress test. I think the stress test, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 10% today.
How many people are going to be?
Our that's like reminiscent of our parents buying houses. We're very far from that, but we're getting to that sensation because their income is not comparable to our income today.
Or with the prices of.
No, but everything's relative, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a little bit.
One more thing I want to touch on is we had a meeting the other day, father and son, and we were talking about rentals, etc. And the son goes, well, isn't there a housing crisis at the moment? Because they have rental units, but they're luxury rental units. We said, yes, but we're not talking about the same units.
No.
We're talking about units. Housing crisis, yeah, that's your units in the $800 and $900 under $1,000. Mm-hmm. It's not your $2,000+ unit that you're trying to rent out. So that's another misconception I want to touch on.
Another misconception too with the rentals, and I think it's the same person or around the same thing that told us this. They said to me, but all these kids that are coming from abroad, that their parents can't buy them condos. So typically, without pigeonholing, we're talking about the Chinese that come over and they buy condos. We're talking people from
Europe,
from Arab countries, Saudi kids, Saudi doctors, people who come over and they usually will buy because for them it's doable. Kids from the US, all those people we're thinking of, right? Well, if they're not going to be able to buy, aren't they going to spend maximum dollars for rent? I'm like, but people aren't stupid. Like if you're in a building, for example, like a L'Avenue building or a TDC or a Solstice, that the whole stack is the same. Okay? All the same. If I'm asking $2,000 a month for my one bedroom, no parking, you're going to ask $3,200 a month for your one bedroom, and you think someone's going to do, because they all want to be in the same building. 6 guys are coming, they want to be in the same building. Which one of the idiots is going to pay $3,200? They're not.
All of the other ones have to be absorbed first. And then by the time they're absorbed, more people are going to be on the market. So you're just going to sit there and you're going to bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. And that's what people need to understand.
You can't be so off market. Listen.
It backfires.
It backfires. And when we buy something, we care about the view. We want to be on the top floor with the nicest view. In all of my years, I've never had a tenant say to me, I'll pay $500 more to be on the 40th floor versus the 30th floor.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They could be looking at a brick wall for all they care.
Some do. And listen, some will pick a unit with a nicer view for a little bit more money, but not significantly more money. And then you're in that position. And as much as the prices, okay there? As much as the prices for the units we're seeing going down a little bit, this is my favorite. We had someone who said, well, I want to rent a parking spot. And I told them that a parking spot downtown is about $250, maybe $300. She said, that's crazy. I'll spend $100. I said, they're not making more parking. So I don't really know where you want me to find you a free parking. You could rent a parking, don't mistake me if I'm wrong. Even in the West Island, a parking is like $100 a month.
Yes.
So
in DDO, I'm asking for $100 a month for underground.
Well, that's it. So that's it. You can't. We're not in a housing crisis that affects the wealthy. We're in a housing crisis that affects people who can't afford to put any roof over their head.
So we're going to do a section, Ask Us Anything. I posted on both of our Instagrams a question box, and I said you can ask us anything, real estate related, non-real estate related.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, we got a lot of fashion things.
Weirdly? It's not weird. I have fantastic style. What are you talking about?
Anyways, so first question is best closet staple.
Best closet staple. Oof. Okay. I'm going to make it real estate related just in terms of what's the best closet staple as a real estate broker. The best closet staple as a real estate broker, I would tell you, is a mom jean or a straight cut jean, something that's more tailored, not too tight, not too loose, ankle length, whatever wash you want. That is one of the most important staples in our job, where even though I'm more of a formal individual, I dress more, I guess you want to call it corporate, I rock jeans as much as possible.
All the time.
And I think jeans with a nice kitten, that's the other thing, a kitten heel. A ballet flat or a flat shoe, a loafer or a small kitten heel, something that you can walk in, something that you're comfortable in, something you can walk up and down stairs in, because you do a lot of going. But you're also, prepare yourself, you're going to be barefoot a lot in our job. Maybe, sometimes you don't want to be barefoot. There are a lot of places I've gone that I swear to God, the bottom of my shoes is cleaner than your floor, but you have to take off your shoes. So I would say those are closet staples. Be comfortable, classy, and put together. A good blazer, a good cardigan. What else? A basic black dress that's either sleeveless, short-sleeved, or long sleeve. It can be a sweater. It can be just something like that. Something that you feel comfortable and confident in. Great. And it can be from anywhere, by the way. Like, I am very about the high-low, so some days I wear...
Yeah, do your top 3, like, brands that you buy from.
Like, high street brands? Like...
Mixed, just total mixed.
Okay. Sandro, Zara. I don't know. The third one's really hard. I mix it up a lot.
Aritzia.
I have a lot of Aritzia. It's true. I have a lot of Aritzia. But I have a lot of... Aritzia does great basic staples
classics. These
for
are
work.
Aritzia, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Club Monaco. This is Club Monaco.
Yep.
So I really it's cool to mix it up. And I would say the most important thing to do is to dress to be comfortable and confident. Like, you don't need to dress like you're not a lawyer. You're not going into a corporate office.
You can dress like you're going to dinner after, being reasonable.
For sure. But also at the same time, there's a time and place for everything. Don't show up in your workout gear.
No, and I look at my schedule before. Like the other day, I was in a crawl space. So I had Billy boots on. You know what I mean?
For sure. You want to organize yourself so you
figure
feel
out what
comfortable
you're going to wear.
And confident when you're at work, for sure.
Fashion tips. Kind of went over it.
I kind of just said that. Be comfortable, be confident. There's a difference between this is important. There's a difference between being comfortable in what you're wearing and looking schleppy, for all my Jewish listeners. You know what schleppy is? Like, just disheveled, another Jewish word. Unput together. Look refined and put together, and don't be distracting. The thing is, you don't want to distract from what you're doing. You're showing a house, so the thing that should be sparkly and glowy should be the house, not your outfit necessarily. It's not a nightclub. So match your personality, but try to be as neutral as possible. You also don't know who you're meeting. Yeah. You know, like a lot of the time, especially as a woman in this business, you got to be really conscious of the other women in the room, and also not to do something that would put yourself in a bad position with a client.
My favorite cheat is the winter because we wear, so if I'm leaving the house and my hair is like not great, I put a hat on. Step one. A beanie with the pom-pom. Makes me look taller. I put on my parka jacket, which comes down to basically here. And then I put snow boots on if it's really snowing, or I have higher boots. So all you see is this. So to be quite honest, if I
black socks.
If I unzip my jacket, I'm wearing usually like a t-shirt, either Lululemons or like jeans. That's it.
That's fine.
Because I'm not, if I know I'm going to take off, like if I'm in an inspection for 3 hours, I know I'm taking off my jacket. Or you're going to a
listing presentation.
But I'm going to Tour de Canada and I have 3 visits, and then I'm going to the West Island. I'm not taking off my jacket, right, in the minus 40. So
the thing is to make sure the black leggings don't look like sport leggings.
No.
Black socks, no white socks. Your coat and a hat. Yeah. The other thing is...
And zip it up.
And by the way, a really good slick back bun will do it too.
Always.
Like, it's fun to go. Like, the winter is the best time to be a real estate broker. Literally, I could be wearing a cozy sweatshirt and I am happy-pappy.
Easy peasy.
No one knows. No one cares. But the thing is also, if you're going to be... Then you don't want to get trapped in your jacket, because that is the worst. You're like dripping sweat, but you know you can't take it off. And again, in the winter too, you got to be prepared that you don't know what you're going into, how hot a house is going to be, how cold it's going to be.
In the summer, my tip is I just dress. Like if you don't take a dress, leave the house.
I always look at these older real estate brokers, these older ladies that are so refined, and they always have a pair of rolled up ballet flats in their purse.
I need one of those.
And I want to don't want to wear my bare foot. But the other thing is too, you'll notice about Michelle and myself, I I mean, I won't hide it. I have quite the collection of handbags. I love a good handbag. 90% of the time I'm walking around with my keys and that's it. Like I don't wear a purse at work. So I would say, going back to what you should invest in a staple. If you are a real estate broker, invest in, it can be from any company or anything, invest in a zipper wallet with the key thing on it. So you can attach your keys, you have one thing to carry, you can have your hands free, and you just roll with it. Like it's, I'm also like, I know that
everything's in there. A credit card, your ID, a business card, your car keys, and then just grab the keys for the unit.
I don't bring listings with me on a visit. Like that's not, unless I'm going with a specific client that I know they wanted the printout listing, you don't want to be distracted holding papers. You want them to focus on being there, so you don't need to carry that much stuff. The other thing is, and I know you're going to tell me I'm old, and I am older than Michelle, you know that this is all a trend to have your phone in like a case with like a crossbody or a wristlet? Like I'm very into that now. I think I want to get one of those crossbody phone holders.
It's this thing that I'm obsessed with because I can carry it like comfortably, but not...
I like the little crossbody thing. Then you have to hold on to your phone. I think it's genius.
And then you go to bed with the crossbody, you're constantly popping your case off, popping your case back on.
No, you don't wear the crossbody in your sleep.
I know, but then it's attached to your phone, so you have to pop it out, and then you're caseless.
Some of them have like clips at the... Whatever. Anyways, I feel like I sound like my mother. Anyways.
God. What's a normal day like for you?
There is no such thing as a normal day.
No, there's no such thing. But a normal day...
Go ahead.
I wake up later than Carly, so by the time I wake up, I look over my emails. I look at my emails in bed, because if anything's like very urgent, I know that I have to get up and deal with it. If it's not, then I can like take my time, etc.
Hold on. Michelle has, I don't know if she's realized this. So Michelle has this thing where she's now changed my timing that I can now call her, as we said before,
it's 10.
9, now it's 10. She doesn't realize that if I can see that the emails are swiping out because I get up hours before her, or she's answering and getting emails in, I know she's awake and working.
Sometimes I wake up at like 7, I'll answer my emails and I'll go back to bed.
But she doesn't know that I don't know if she knows that I can see it. So I'm like,
no, I know.
I see you. I see what you're
doing. So I do my emails. I do not take an appointment before 10 o'clock. That was before. Now it's like 11. But I don't take an appointment because by the time I wake up, get dressed, feed the dog, get the dog out, leave my house, drive downtown, it takes me an hour.
This is my mini violin for you, but keep going.
10 o'clock. So if I have something at 10, I plan everything in the morning, and then I go home because I work from home. If it's the afternoon, then I take my time, get ready, go downtown, come back home. And then you do emails all day long. And the minute you get up and you're like, oh, I'm done with emails, another email comes in. Yeah. But that's okay.
My turn?
Yeah.
I don't have a dog, so I don't have to feed the dog. I get up anywhere between 6:15 and 6:45 in the morning. I roll out of bed. I try not to, but I still do every day. I look at my phone. I answer all of my emails. I filter out all the emails that Michelle won't need. I transfer all of the emails that I know, because we have one inbox that comes to, even though you write to Michelle or you write to me, they all come through one inbox. So I delete her emails. The ones that go to her, I transfer to her, clean out my inbox, put on my running shoes, go to the gym, whether I'm doing Pilates, training, or working out at the gym. And I put my phone on like the workout, so no one disturbs me for that 1 hour, which is usually anywhere between 7:30 to 8:30 in that realm. Then I turn back on my phone. Michelle's still not working or awake.
Nope.
I answer more emails, go home, shower, change, hit the road, and I take appointments as of 8:30, and I'll either go to my appointments, go to the office, maybe make an appearance in our showroom.
You like to go somewhere.
I need to go somewhere. I cannot work from home. And I try my best that in that 45 minutes after the gym that I'm in my house, I am only trying to get out of the house. And then after that, I go, and I'm more likely to work in the early part of the day, take a break in the afternoon to run errands, do something that has to be done if I can, and then go back to work. And I usually finish my quote-unquote work day. In the summer, it's harder because we can go until 8 o'clock with sun.
Yeah.
I'll probably work until 7:45-ish.
I won't pick up the phone after 7:45, 8.
And then I'll work until 8, and then I'll triage for the next day. Like by the time I'm done at the end of the day, I'm replanning for the next day, and I kind of keep it like that for a plan. Somewhere in there, I eat. I pee 95 times.
We eat in our car.
I eat in my
car.
So
we drink these. If no, everyone knows what this is. This is Stanley. How many ounces is this, Miranda? 1.18 liters.
Yeah.
So we fill these up, and this is what we take in our car.
She says we, but she bought me an emotional support water bottle, but I also still use plastic, and I posted a couple weeks ago on Instagram.
People give you shit?
No, people were okay with that. I go through so many bottles of water, and there's not water. It's water and coffee and pre-workout and I'll have a tea and I'll have this. I drink so many liquids. I could literally float.
I plan my days. I'm like, okay, where am I going to pee today? So I'm going to go to this property, but that property has a tenant in it. But they have a gym. They have a gym, so I'll go to the gym and I'll go to the washroom there.
You know our secret bathroom between TDC 1 and TDC 2?
Yeah. It's under construction.
It's under construction. I had to pee so badly the other day. I like ran there in between visits, and I got there and I was like, oh. So I also made the cardinal mistake after that. So I did my visit after that in my unit, at one of the units at TDC, and the water was off.
Again?
And I forgot the water was off, and I peed.
I did a visit with the broker the other day, and he asked me, may I use the washroom? I was like, thank you for asking me.
Well,
yes,
I'm the
you
broker.
may.
I should have known that I could have peed in
Yes, you may. The water is on. Go ahead.
But don't you test the water first? Usually I forgot to test the water first.
So you turn back the water on?
Turn back the water on. Is this a time that I can tell my story of what happened to me last week at TDC with the broker?
What happened? No, I don't even know what happened.
You do know what happened. So last week I had a visit at TDC, and I promised Michelle I would bring this up because it was hilarious. So I get a visit request on one of my units.
Oh, yes. I know.
And I'm standing in the lobby.
Talking about.
I literally ran there because I was not feeling well. It was like hot, and I was just off that day. And I run to the visit, and I'm standing in the lobby with another broker who has a visit right after me, and we're chatting, and broker's like a good 10 minutes late. I'm like, oh, what time's your visit? And she says, oh, was it 2:30? And I said, me too. And I'm like, good, she double booked. That's kind of rude. Even though it's in the same building, you don't do that. She's 10 minutes late. She's 13 minutes late. I get an email contact, which is our internal system, from the broker that says she's canceling the visit because her client canceled. I turned to the broker who's showing her unit to the same person. I said, hey, our visit's canceled. That sucks. She goes, oh, it happens to me all the time. I didn't get the message. I said, you didn't get a message? She goes, no. I said, that's strange. Well, maybe you just didn't get it yet. I'm staring at her like this, and all of a sudden she goes, is that so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, that's the broker. She's like, ruh-roh. Like, and this broker has only met me twice, but she knew. She just could see it in my face, like, that girl is going down. Broker walks in, and she goes to the other girl. She goes, are you Carly? And I go, no, I am. And she goes, yeah, oh, sorry. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? She's now 20 minutes late for my visit and has canceled 3 minutes prior to her walking her butt inside. Where do you think I am when you cancel the visit and you're already late? I'm not sitting in my car. I'm not already home. I'm standing in the lobby of the building. And she goes, yeah, my client just saw a unit approximately the same square footage and he found it too small. And I said to her, in this building? Oh, in the other building, in TDC 3. She goes, no, in another project. And I said to her, you know that square footage can be different.
Any layout, you can lay out a million ways.
Her layout is only, the other broker's layout is only slightly bigger than me and bigger than mine. She goes, yeah, but no, it's not. I'm like, okay, well, hold the phone. I've done over 50 transactions in this building. I think I know the layouts like the back of my hand. It's 100 square feet of hallway versus mine. And she goes, well, or he doesn't want to see it. And the client's standing right there, and he's like, well, I can see it if it's, I'm like, no, you've wasted enough of my time. I was so irate. You lied to my face.
You're already there.
But that's exactly it. Go ahead. What would you have done in the situation?
So if a client would have said like, oh my God, this is way too small. Like, I don't want to see anything of this layout. I would have said, listen, we're already here. You're already in the same building. It's not like you're going to see the other unit. So whether you go to 23rd floor and the 52nd floor, it's the same thing. And it takes 2 seconds to walk through a condo, right? And just out of like courtesy, you go to the unit, you see the unit, and you never know. I took a client to see a unit the other day, and she even reminded me, she's like, last year, Michelle, you showed me something, and I didn't want to see it, and I like, it wasn't for me on the pictures, etc. And that's the one she ended up taking. Yeah. So a client never knows, and you as the broker need to guide your client. And yeah, maybe they said it was too small next door, but you don't know.
You don't know, and also, it's the question of, It does take 2 seconds.
If it was 2 days before and she found out the client
2 hours before.
2 hours before, because if I would have went to that visit and I would have made an hour drive, I would have been irate. But
my thing is, it's not rude. It's irate and it's crappy for you and it's not nice. But my unit is owner occupied, or there would have been a tenant.
That too.
Then it's rude.
That too.
It is so rude to that person because they'll never know.
Then you have to tell your owner, by the way,
they never showed up.
I'm waiting downstairs. You can come back now.
And they're late. Yeah. And they're never showed up. The worst part of the whole thing for me is, had she picked up the phone when she was at the other building and said, hey, Carly, I'm so sorry. He really doesn't want to see it. And you would have called me 5 minutes before the visit and been honest with me on the phone, I would have been like, you know what, hon? No harm, no foul. I get it. It happens. You sure they don't want to just come take a look?
Things happen.
Things happen. But you're late. You lie to my face and you think that I'm not going to be there standing, waiting for you. I was purple.
I died. I saw the message come through and I was like,
she literally texted me. She's like, did she just cancel on you 19 minutes after she was supposed to be there? I was like, I literally it could have been a meme of my smoke coming out of my ears and my light on fire. I was like, I was irate. I ended up selling the unit, but it's not that 2 days later.
At least.
But it's so inconsiderate. I was burning. Anyways, going back to
next
the story.
question. You just got back from New York. This is a good question. What's the one thing you can't travel without?
My phone. No, but it's a sickness. I had my phone in my hand the whole entire time, constantly checking my emails.
And a laptop, you have to have a lot. You have to travel with my iPad.
Same thing. Yeah. Actually, the one thing I can't travel without are charge tabs. Charge tabs are the smartest thing ever.
Yeah.
If you've never seen them, they're these little packets with a disposable charger in them. They're recyclable. It's still whatever. But you plug them to the back of your phone and it gives you one full charge.
They're small enough to keep in your purse or even in the back pocket of your jeans.
They're the same size as Midday Square, the individual Midday Squares. Because I actually had it on my phone in New York when I was sitting in a restaurant. It was at $23,000 having lunch. And a girl next to me is like, that's so smart. What is that? I'm like, well, it's a disposable charger. And she said to me, you know why? It's so cool. It's because a portable charger is only as good as the person who charges it. How many times have you reached for a disposable a reusable charger and it's not been charged?
Yeah.
This is always
Plus you need that long ass cord. This one's tiny and the cord's this big.
That's so I can't live without around the world. Need it wherever I go.
Smart.
Keep one in the car, in your purse. It's the smartest thing. I think that's the best thing to have when you travel. What's yours?
Snacks. It sounds so bad, but you're stuck on the tarmac yesterday for an hour and a half.
And I had
If I'm starving, I need a snack. It's the amount of horror stories you hear, you're stuck on the plane or you're stuck on the tarmac or whatever.
I was so disappointed in myself.
I need food.
I had no snacks. We always have snacks in our car.
Snacks and Lysol.
Balls.
When I sit on a plane, I Lysol everything.
Too, yeah, same.
COVID or not, even before COVID, I did it.
Yeah.
Because people put their toes up, they take off their shoes.
Oh my God. Yesterday I'm sitting on the plane, okay? And I'm sitting, not to be whatever, but I'm sitting in business class, okay? And I'm sitting in my seat. And all of a sudden, we're on the tarmac for an hour and 45 minutes.
You see toes.
There was a guy who slid his foot. And it was just literally was here, right? And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say it. Then it was here. And I was like, excuse me. And he's like, oh, sorry. And his wife smacked him. I was like, yeah, that's what you.
Barefoot?
No,
or with the
socks,
shoe?
But no. Just keep your feet on your side of the seat.
Gross. What kind of music are you into? Or what do you listen to in your car?
Well, thanks to Miranda, I listened to country EDM mix thing, and I really.
Are you still listening to the same thing?
Well, she
the
gave
30
me
second, this 30 second, the 30-minute thing.
There's two of them, and
I'm such an idiot, right? So I'm like, because I'm so used to listening things on Spotify. Yeah. So I was listening to it. I kept swiping, unconsciously. I was like, oh, I don't like this song.
It's not on Spotify.
Whatever it is, but I was swiping,
SoundCloud.
so it kept restarting and going to the next thing.
Oh, it's really good.
I don't like this part. Swipe, then I went.
And I'm kind of obsessed with the new Taylor Swift album.
I haven't listened to anything of it.
Good.
But no, in the car, either I'll listen to country, top 40, or a podcast, and mostly a podcast.
I can't listen to a podcast because I'm never in the car long enough, and it just cuts them down.
I leave my
podcast for my walks on the treadmill because I have to hear the whole thing at once.
No, I love getting it, stopping it and going to a visit and then getting back in the car and listening to the rest of it. No?
Do you not ever, how do you watch TV episodes? Do you watch them in parts? I've watched the whole TV episode at once.
In parts all the time. Like I'll sit down for breakfast, I'll watch 10 minutes, then I'll do my things, and then let's say I go do my makeup, I watch the next 20 minutes.
No,
everything's like fragmented.
Miranda, your opinion, do you watch a whole TV show or you watch parts? Right, like okay, but if you have to go, but like a normal human, you sit down knowing that you're going to watch a whole like episode of something, no? Yeah.
No, like Kardashians, like it comes out on Thursdays. Like I'll watch like 10 minutes when I start having breakfast.
Michelle watches the most trash TV.
Everything. Kardashian. And no one does. I don't get who's watching these things because anyone I meet, they don't watch Kardashians, all the housewives, all the below decks.
You know who's watching them?
Trash.
All the other housewives, Michelle.
Trash. No one.
Housewives.
Yeah.
That's who was watching it.
Anyways, they're so good. What else do people watch?
Documentaries?
Yeah, I watch those too.
I watch those.
No, but there's not many on Netflix. There's one murder documentary that comes out per 2-3 months.
There's so many documentaries. There's like a whole bunch that just came out.
No, I like all the murder ones.
I don't think those are necessarily just documentaries, but okay. I also watch like old TV shows. Like I watch Frasier, How I Met Your Mother.
No.
Oh yeah, so good. Old TV is better than new TV because like you can't say things on TV that you used to be able to say.
The one thing I did watch, did you watch Yellowstone?
Yes.
That I loved. I'm going to restart it, I think. That was the one TV show in the recent 3 years that I like, j'étais accrochée.
But you're also both too young. I think so. But like for me growing up, TGIF, Friday Night TV, was a thing.
I don't even know what that is.
There were 4 shows like Boy Meets World, Sister, oh my God, Family Matters. It was all on back to back to back. And it was like such a thing. And
you had to watch it at the time?
Yeah. Because that's what TV is.
I don't even have TV at home. Do you have TV at home?
No, I have Crave and Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, and the Paramount, and then...
I have everything. You know what would be cheaper? Having cable. Well, having like Bell 5 or whatever, like my parents have. I think I pay for 7 different subscriptions.
It's not cheap. Not cheap.
Well, what we're doing isn't cheap either. Now you can't even split your Netflix. Now you have to pay your own. That's
true.
Bullshit.
Okay, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Good. Clap.
Okay.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I haven't traveled enough of the world to make that firm decision, but as it stands today, probably somewhere in Italy.
Okay.
La Dolce Vita. You?
I would have, like, I couldn't tell you where, but it would still have to be a place with 4 seasons. Like, I honestly enjoy the 4 seasons. I couldn't do, like, down south all year. I need to ski in the winter. I need to enjoy my summer.
I had this conversation, though, with someone yesterday about that, like, places that you thought you would live in when you're younger that you don't think you could do when you're older, like New York City, for example. I really thought before I came to real estate and I was working in advertising, I thought I would move to New York. But the idea of living in Manhattan and having kids and a family and like being in your late 30s, 40s in Manhattan, unless you really are...
Sounds exhausting.
...super wealthy, even at that, and commute, you have a problem commuting from Laval every day. Could you imagine if you had to commute from Connecticut? Oh, God. No. Like, I value my time and my life too much to spend it in the car every day.
Yeah, no, thank you. But yeah, summer with 4 seasons.
Okay.
What's your biggest fear? I know mine. Mine is needles.
Oh, I'm petrified of needles, but
I'm getting better.
Horrible
with needles.
I'm getting better because I have an IV every 6 weeks. I don't have a choice. I'm getting better with needles because of my Crohn's. Spiders.
Oh, no, a spider,
Oh, no, spiders I cannot
easy
do.
peasy.
Nope, spiders I can't do. I think spiders. And I see them everywhere. Like, anytime a spider is, so I can see it and I'll watch it. Like, I'll be in a conversation with a client and I'll be like, I think that's one of my biggest fears.
Oh, mine is needles. Last question. What's the weirdest text you've ever received from a client? I've received many texts from clients that were not meant for me. But they say, like, I'm so sorry, it was meant for someone else. Like, but nothing like, I've received weird things on Facebook Marketplace, obviously, from like people inquiring about properties, but not from a direct client.
I think the weirdest text message I ever got from a client that comes to the top of my head is, Carly, I think my condo was possessed. And they weren't joking. They really thought that someone had put a curse on the condo previous to them.
Did you suggest them to Sage?
Yes, it did.
And?
They found a voodoo doll in their condo. Oh. It was definitely a voodoo doll. It was definitely possessed.
No.
Yeah. I think that's the weirdest thing I've ever gotten from a client. Though more and more I'm getting like pictures from former and current clients at TDC taking a picture of my picture in the elevator. I find that kind of creepy.
It's funny though.
But it's funny. I think that's it. I don't know. I feel like I've never had something like really bizarre besides that my condo's possessed. I found a voodoo doll.
Nothing that weird. No. Okay. Wrap it up.
How long was that?
46.
Perfection.
Perfect. Clap and do outro.
Just do the outro.
Thank you for tuning in.
This was super fun.
Yeah, we appreciate all your questions, and we'll definitely do one in a few more episodes and Ask Me Anything. And we appreciate you writing into us. And if there's anything, even if it's not a Q&A day, you can definitely always write us to us on Instagram.
We like the non-real estate related ones. They're kind of fun. It lets you get to know us better, which is that's the whole point of this podcast, right? To educate and to also get you to know more about us. So thanks so much.
Thank you for
and we'll
tuning
see you
in.
next time.